My iPad storage just got really full, so I had to. Then the video stopped halfway through, so I've had to start again. No, I'll start halfway through. I'm not starting again. That's so stupid. So as I was saying, you want to draw 2 lines either side of your what's it called, X, and then you just want to start putting in some building sort of indicators. So I'm just going to draw a line like that, and then might do a sort of slightly taller, so you can go slightly taller with a gap. So you want a gap between those two and that one. Go slightly taller because it'll be sort of like a taller building, and then your line always comes. That line that you've got always comes from your X. So whenever you're going from the middle point outwards, you just want to keep it sort of in line with that vanishing point. Otherwise, it won't look right when you've done it. It will look strange. And whenever you need to do a line across, you always keep it level with this horizontal line that's your horizon line. So if I want to draw in the side of that building like that, that would just come like that, and the same there. It's hard for you to see, but you just want to make sure that basically you need to keep your lines parallel, your horizontal lines parallel to the horizon line, vertical lines vertical, and your parallel lines always in line, the ones that carry on running forever almost, always in line with that, coming from that vanishing point. This looks a bit strange because I've got that sort of line now in that you can't really get rid of, but oh well. So you want to keep doing that. If you want to do, if ever you want to get find the middle point for your doorway, you just do a cross within that shape. So from corner to corner, I'm going to do it lightly because I don't know about otherwise. Corner to corner, corner to corner, and then that X in the middle there is where your door would be. The middle of your door would be. If you catch my drift. So you'd come down again, following the parallel lines. The door would be horizontal. Top of the door, sorry, would be horizontal, and that line would come down like that. So you've got your doorway then, and then you just get rid of that afterwards. Well, we can do that afterwards, but still we're gonna, I'm probably gonna run out of battery again. Stupid iPad. And then you just want to keep doing that either side. Oh, horrible noise. Just to get your, and I'm going to just put some quick lines in to suggest that there's like a gap in between these houses. Say there's like a row of terraced houses or something, for example, like I don't know, doorway. So if you want to say this was a giant house, you just, not a house but building, you just put an X like that. The point is where the door would be, the middle of the door would be. Lines down, line across, line down. Oops, that's wrong. Do your line. Oops. Perpendicular to that one. So basically, you know, as soon as you've got like a a line that doesn't match up to any other line or doesn't go in the same direction as any other line, you know you've gone wrong. Basically, so I just done. Okay, and then you've got, say you wanted to do like a roof on one of these, you go in like that. I'm going to do like a little pointy roof, so you go up, just follow the same principle, and then you go to, you draw in a little, what's the word, an eaves? Yeah, from your middle point, you draw in the little bit of the roof that goes up like that, and then you come down, you go across horizontally because that's the top, and where it met that, you bring a line down to there with your perpendicular line to there. So there you've got your little roof. Is the word eaves? Is it like the front of a, the frontage of a house that where the top met, the roof met at a point like that at the top. I don't know if it's called eaves or not. And that is really, and if you wanted to have, if you've ever got like a curved curved building, which often you do get, you can just apply the same principle, but instead of as long as you keep your everything coming from your vanishing point, you can just add a slight curve to the line. So say I wanted to make that building curved. I don't know if you can see really. Let's tap the light on there because it's there you go. So you want to bring your line just slightly curved like that, from that point to that point, always going to the middle of your vanishing point like that, and then the same again outwards like that. So, and that's to suggest then that building has got a sort of, or is going round a slight bend, or is it's got a slight bend either in the building or in the road that it's on. And then so it's basically just like it's this line that you need to pay attention to, these lines that come from this point. So as long as they're all parallel to each other, then they're not like this or like that. And the horizontal line, the horizon line, always indicates anything going across will always be level with this point that you put in the beginning. You can go in afterwards and you can add detail, you can add brickwork. Remember with brickwork and things like that, all the lines of the bricks will follow the same rule. And then you can do some sort of, you can add detail, you can add, if you wanted to do the vanishing point over here to the other side, you'd have a road that was like something more like this. That's quite a nice way. You add windows in that way. Sorry, my phone's going off now. This is successful, isn't it? Oh dear. What's happening? Stop ringing! Right, cool. So, and so forth, and blah, 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 blah. But you get the idea. Line in, line like that. Equal to there. And you can put some smaller buildings in if you wanted, or I don't know, I'm just blabbering on now, but yeah, have a play with that. That's a nice kind of way to do a street view in perspective. And then have a play around with curvature as well and see how it, and you can tell, your eye will tell when you can tell when it's not right, when it doesn't look right. You're like, oh, and just have a think about what we've been talking about. If you want to take any of the buildings lower because they're shorter, do that. All you need to do is just cut it in half, but with the line being equal to that line. So say if I wanted to make that building taller by another step, you see that, I'd add a bit in there, and I'd just do a line coming from my middle, line going down like that, line going across, and you can build up, so it starts to build up a kind of a cityscape of like, and even like a church spire there or something. You'd have the same principle of the sides. It's slightly different with it's more complicated with things like triangles and stuff because it's harder to work out, but that's the basic principle of perspective, 1 point perspective. What is also quite nice, as I thought I'd show you, was drawing people, like I said in the beginning. So I've got some tips for that. I can't promise I'll hand it with you, but I will have a go. Just try and fix that somewhere. Oh, I'll just leave it. So, for example, if you had, I was saying about figures in a line, queues of people, there's 3 kind of rules really. You can draw, so I'm going to just draw 3 little boxes here. Let's try and do that. So 3 sort of rectangles. Number 2 and number 3. Yeah, whoops. It's kind of in the way, that thing. And depending on the rule is with this, depending on where you're standing. So if you've got a high horizon, like I mentioned before, the heads will always be level. If you've got a middle horizon, the chests will always be level, no matter how big they are, how small they are, the figures. And if you've got a low horizon, the knees will always be level. So what I mean by that is, say for example, you're looking at a street or a field, and you've got a horizon line here. Okay, that's your horizon. Yeah, see that? Wherever you're looking, or whatever the rule is, however many people are there, or how far away they are, the heads will always be on this line. So, say for example, you've got, well, that's going to be too big because it's quite far away, but let's draw the ones in the foreground first. So I'm going to draw this man here. Well, I'm going to draw a really like crude, simplistic drawing of a person here, like that, facing that way. Maybe he's with his wife, I don't know, or his husband. And they're having a nice walk. They're having their daily walk to wherever. Okay, and their heads are on that line. Say, for example, there was a person in the back walking their dog that was slightly further back. I'm going to just draw them slightly smaller. Same position, so you get the idea. Same stance. Slightly smaller legs. Their legs. Walking his dog. I don't know. Just walking his kangaroo. Yeah. And then you've got like some people playing over here, and they've got tiny little bodies because they're really quite far away. Maybe just one kicking a ball. Slightly closer one here. Slightly less big than your man walking the dog there, but still. Right. And then you've got a really tall guy over here, big guy over here. So he's perhaps walking a little bit. Oh God. He's coming this way, but he's more in the foreground. And you can see that even though they're all different sizes, they kind of look like relatively, perspectively makes sense, or whatever I'm trying to say, because their heads all meet the horizon line. Okay, what I mean by what I was talking about before is that these rules apply for high horizon, low horizon, and medium horizon, depending on what. You just have to center a part of the body on either or. So we've done high horizon, so let's do low horizon. Down here, you want to get for low horizon, you want to always have a vanishing point again from your horizon line. Choose wherever. Do lines out. I'm not going to use a ruler because I can't be bothered. Lines out like that, and then you're going to, because it's low horizon, their feet are going to be on. Their knees, not their feet. Their knees are going to be on this line. So let's start with their knees. Legs down there. Feet, body. Really can't draw people today. Okay, little man. And then ideally you kind of really want their heads to be, if you're doing one in the foreground like that, you'd want his head to be up there. So let's do that for the purposes of this. Arguments. Should really be doing this in pen, so it's not okay, so you've got man in foreground there with really small knees. And then you've got another one here. And because you've got these two lines, they will naturally become smaller as you go, because you're not allowed to put their feet any below this line or their head above this line. And then that allows you to be able to draw them in perspective really quite easily. And it's a nice little... Makes it easier, because I've always found that really confusing when you're trying to draw, like, people. There you go. And that's just the basic principle again. It's just the middle vanishing point. That's like the kind of the what's that word? When it's like the golden ticket, but I don't mean that. I mean like the oracle of all rules, the principles of drawing things really, is in drawing things that you're trying to create depth, or the sense of depth, or the sense of reality. Then you do that. And then just quickly then again with middle horizon, you want to do your vanishing point from there, like that, and draw their chest, sort of chest area, so their heads, their chests there. That. And with the low horizon, I just haven't really shown you very quickly. Chest, legs, like that. And with the low horizon, vanishing point would probably, with the high horizon, vanishing point would probably be the lines would come down because the horizon is so high that you wouldn't really see up here. So you'd have your people standing, and their heads would all be level with the horizon, getting bigger because they're in the foreground, and their bodies would all be like that. His head's massive, but yeah, you catch my drift. So yeah, that is it really. I'll post up a couple of things on the page, a couple of examples and some little indicators just to remind you if you want to have a go. And it is just imagine vanishing point and parallel lines and horizon lines. And I'm sorry this video is now in 2 parts because of my stupid iPad. Okay, I'm going. You'll be happy to know. Bye bye. Ciao.